and it looks like this right here is going to head in on these Marauders, and the Marauders now with this front row right here hitting stim packs, very powerful against these units, and looks like there's going to be Colossus, Stalkers, and Zealots all scattering now back to their main base. So it looks like we could see Antimage losing map control. Force Field's now blocking these units, kind of getting them caught up, and looks like he's going to lose a Colossus there. So this is not good for Antimage. Antimage turning and running, trying to escape devastation, and or maybe luring him into a trap even. So it looks like Jimmy is just going to follow all the way home maybe, and Antimage now with a third base going up. So it looks like Antimage can take, or Antimage now turning around and fighting with Colossus just ripping through all these grouped together forces, which is why it is so strong against Zerg grouped forces. And these Colossus are going to wreak havoc on these Marauders, because if he had these Ghosts right now, he could win this with Ghosts, but those Ghosts are gone, and he's taking heavy losses. Jimmy losing all these Marauders. You can see it down here. They're just getting picked off like flies by these Colossus with their long kind of spread beams, and now putting in another stim pack to run home, and turning around and microing off a few shots, which it looks like Jimmy kind of just gave up on micro and got owned there. So not very good for Jimmy, and this game looks like it may have just gone to Antimage. Antimage now with a third base coming up, so he will have the economic advantage very shortly, and he's also got the battlefield advantage as far as units go. So if he were to press this attack right now, it would be game over for Jimmy, surely. Jimmy with just a few more Marauders, now cranking out as fast as he can with everything he can, all barracks producing, and his starport producing 2 Vikings. So it looks like he's not going to bring in any more medevacs at this moment. It looks like he's going to try and concentrate on just an offensive force. So Antimage now moving. He may sit here like he did last time, or if he has foresight a little bit, he may push the attack, because if he pushes the attack, he will, one of two things will happen. He will end up taking the game, or he will end up on an even plane with Jimmy. So Jimmy, also something very important to mention is Jimmy's production is pretty good. Now let's take a look at resources to see if he can sustain it, and looks like Jimmy is going to be able to sustain production fairly easily, and Antimage on the other hand kind of hurting for minerals. Looks like he's bringing them in at a good rate, and his third base going up right now, so that economic advantage is going to be gained fairly shortly. Now an SCV up for Jimmy, and it looks like that SCV is going to be picked off by these 3 Stalkers. So SCV not doing much for scouting, and these Vikings being sent back up the hill. So Vikings being repaired now. Jimmy not wanting to waste a single unit, because he is hurting right now for units, and 2 more medevacs coming out, which if he's planning on doing another Marauder force, those will be very, very great for helping him sustain a stim pack type of thing. And I think the only thing he could do right now that would vastly improve his forces and maybe make him able to take the game is start cranking out Hellions or Marines, or just something to have a buffer in between the Colossus and the Zealots and his Marauders, because you want something in between those. So I believe these Vikings are able to fire on Colossus because they are so high when the Vikings are in air mode, and Vikings very strong in air mode. So designed to be the perfect air-to-air unit for these Terrans, and no upgrades for that. So let's take a look at upgrades for both players real quick while there's kind of a lull in the action. Jimmy now with the same upgrade as before, just +1 for armor or weapons rather, for ground units, and it doesn't look like he's pursued any other major upgrades except for stim pack and stuff like that. Let's take a look at Antimage, which Antimage now he actually put in a forge. It looks like he did a 1 ground weapons upgrade, and looks like also that is going to affect the thermal lances. So not much in the way of upgrades other than that. Maybe he's going for blink. Nope. So both players playing a kind of production heavy build, And looks like he's going to go for level 2 now, which, let's see if Jimmy is researching anything through his engineering bay. And looks like he is, so he's going to reach level 2 weapons before Antimage does, but the thing that Antimage has in his favor is that +2 weapons will also affect these Colossus, and with a just +1 armor, or not plus anything armor, that can be devastating against these, because they'll just soak up all that damage, and they'll be torn apart. If he had a second engineering bay, it might be able to also help him to get those armor upgrades while he's producing weapon upgrades, because right now he needs to be throwing all he's got into production to try and get his force back up to what it once was, which he's already got a fairly large force, and it looks like he's going to be finishing this natural expansion with another refinery, and he's looking like he's going to run out of minerals in his main very soon, so not going to be on 2 bases anymore very soon, and looks like Antimage, I mean, is on 3 bases with only a little bit of minerals coming in here. So let's just say he's on 2 bases, but he still has an economic advantage because he is not going to be losing one of them very soon, of course. And he now has a much larger force, which his battlefield presence is a lot stronger than what we see in Jimmy. Jimmy now making more ghosts, which that is great. If Jimmy can get a few more ghosts and restore his great micro status that he had earlier when he repelled that attack, that would be great, because that's one of his only ways to come back from this. If he could get a couple more ghosts, looks like he has one more coming, that could be great. As I said, if he can drop that EMP shell on the right spot from those 2 ghosts, if he's got them all the way charged, he can drop a few of those EMP shells, and that can totally turn the tides of this battle. And looks like 3 more gateways coming in now for Antimage at his expansion, and 5 in the main also, and a Twilight Council now. So it looks like he actually did research Zeld speed, and he's going to be at level 2 weapons for ground very soon, and Jimmy is already at level 2 weapons, and let's see, he has not pushed it to level 3 yet. So, slowly producing units. His resources aren't that great. His mineral production isn't what it used to be, because this base now with a couple missing patches, and this one getting ready to go down with just 45 and 20, and he needs to expand to stay alive. And the problem with that is he does not have the right amount of forces to defend an expansion. So, it's kind of a lose-lose game for Jimmy, unless he can pull off something big, unless he can pull off a miraculous battle right here. So let's take a look at just the broad army view for both, and the supplies. You can see that Antimage, sorry, I keep calling him that, Antimage has about 40 higher supply, so a lot more units fielded on the battle, and Protoss normally has superior units. So if Protoss has a higher supply count than you and you are another race, you can be in big trouble, especially when you are an infantry build. So we can also take a look at units, and for Colossus now, and Immortal, just a single Immortal, but here's the big bulk of his force, which is 28 Stalkers, and the problem with Jimmy's force is it is mostly built up of 33 Marauders, which can be compared to the 28 Stalkers and the 4 Immortals, which those 4 Immortals or bosses just kind of throw the balance. And also now warping in units, because those warp gates allow him to, bringing in resets, and it looks like ThisIsJimmy is going to try and pull back, which he could have killed this expansion, which, by the way, this is going to be the 4th base, and it will be the 3rd producing base for Antimage. I'm not sure why Antimage hasn't gone for this high yield minerals. He has just about as